right, let's see if this works. Welcome everyone to State of the Game for the 15th of June. This is a bit different because I'm standing in the corner doing camera-y things. But the good thing is I can almost touch you. Anyway, I hope you guys are having a great day so far. We had a maintenance this morning, which I think has some very good news, in my opinion. Anyone that had been dealing with the Midtown Music people in there will not have to deal with that any longer. I'm just going to read that to you. There was an out-of-bounds area created inside Midtown Music that will prevent players from staying inside the environment. A more permanent fix that will prevent access to this area entirely is coming in the next client-side update, which is cool. There's also was a bug with Recovery Link, which was fixed, where it wasn't on the same cooldown as all of your other signature skills. That is fixed now. All right. I am joined today by a couple of folks over at Reflections. Guys, one thing before I introduce you, would you mind turning down your audio, turning down me in your room a little bit? I'm getting myself through your speakers. Is that possible? All right. I think we'll be good. All right, are we good to go? Can I give us a thumbs up, and then we'll start this ball rolling. All right. Okay. All right. Let me just bring up you here. There we go. All right. Hey guys, how you doing?
Hello.
James Arthur, lead game designer, and Mark Russell, both senior game designer or lead game designer?
Senior, depending how well this goes.
All right. All right. Well, we'll have to see. Well,
and we've got Tom. Tom's got a watching brief too.
All right. Yeah. Tom. He's standing there in the back. I don't know if people can see him in there. Wait. I can just. Well, I put you guys full screen. So Tom's sitting there in the middle on the box. Perfect. All right. So again, Tom couldn't join us today because he is otherwise disposed. But we do have some good folks here to talk about the latest news and the latest feature that's coming in 1.7, which is Commendations. Guys, are you comfortable to take me through what we can readily admit is Tom's baby, correct?
Yeah, 100%.
All right, but you guys don't tell anyone that. And what we should do is just claim it for our own. And hopefully we can get you that senior game designer title, and then we'll be away laughing. Before I get started, there was another thing that I didn't mention before, so this is aside from that. There is an investigation into burn resist as it pertains to Seeker Mines. I'll talk about my conversation with Keith a little bit later in the stream. And the rapid bug, which we've talked about before, is only a UI bug, and we have verified that, but there will be a fix to the UI. So you can safely use rapid and get the intended consequences. So anyway, that's out of the way. I'm going to talk about commendations, guys. So, big blanket statement. What are commendations?
Okay, so commendations are they're basically an expansion of achievements, but that's doing a big disservice to them. They're a way to kind of build in a long-term challenge for existing users as well as new users, so they can come in and they can work towards long-term goals. And at the same time, we're also going to reward loyalty. So people that have already played the game for a while, when commendations come online, there'll be a bunch of stuff they'll have already achieved, and that will show. And much like global events, the core is to get players to explore the game a little bit more, maybe push them into areas they might not necessarily play, get them to think about builds, get them to think about talents and play styles, and just try and keep that engagement going on.
Yeah, I think one of the things that people have talked about, especially after the last stream we've done, and they've obviously seen what the ETF has been saying about 1.7 and 1.8, the conversations we had with them then. I think, as a disclaimer, I think it's fair to say, as the ETF has outlined, that 1.8 is more what people would consider a content patch, and 1.7 is more, well, you could consider it content, is mainly focused on features, which we've shown some of. We're showing a little bit more today. Fair. I think, is that a fair summary?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. With 1.7, we're looking to re-engage what we've got and make it feel a bit fresher and newer, and 1.8 is the big kind of the content drop.
Okay, great. I see a lot of people in chat saying, wait, are those guys Scottish? What's happening here? Just for chat, can you clear up whereabouts you're from?
I am from Scotland.
I'm not from Scotland. I'm English. That's, it's a bit of a faux pas.
But you lived in Scotland for a while.
I did live in Scotland for a while. Yes, I did.
All right. Whereabouts in Scotland are you from?
I'm from a place called Fife, which is just north of Edinburgh.
Okay, there you go. I've only been to Edinburgh briefly, and it was awesome. But I want to explore more
great.
of Scotland, especially because I feel like a traitor having a Scottish name and not having explored Scotland, which is problematic. Although great when you're traveling, because I get to use my Scottish name, and they're like, "Oh, we understand you finally." That's good.
I think they just wave you through customs, don't they?
Exactly. Some Orthocarbon in chat says the Kingdom of Fife. Is that anyway?
Yeah.
I guess that's a thing.
Anyway, it is the Kingdom of Fife. Yeah.
Okay, we've done enough of the Scottish fanboying for the Gaming Scotsman YouTube, who's in chat. It seems we have a lot of Scottish people. Hello, Scottish people.
Well, yeah.
Anyway.
There's a few.
All right, I'm being forced to stay on message. I'm sorry, I got carried away.
Sure.
Commendations. So let's continue a little bit with that. One of the things that you alluded to was that commendations, some of them will be retroactive, correct?
Yes.
On that, I think it's fair to say that given the breadth of the commendations, which we will be talking about more in a second, not everything has been tracked in the way that it would need to be retroactive. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Like we're looking at like maybe 500 commendations.
All right, that's
quite a lot. And obviously we haven't tracked all of them since the game launched.
Mm-hmm.
The way we're looking at it right now is to put everyone on even keel when they start. It's going to be anything that you can't do again, anything that's part of the game that you really should have some kind of achievement for, but is non-repeatable. That will be retroactively applied, but everything else is mostly going to start on at 0. You're going to have to work through that again. Okay. But it does put everyone on an even keel. Part of the reason that's we think that's okay is that you're going to get some kind of view on how everyone else is doing on their commendations, and that means that it becomes a kind of a view on how good you're doing in the game and your progress.
That leads me to one of my other questions. We're going to cross over to Gabe, who's doing star jumps. Guys, could you turn me down a little bit more? Sorry. I'm getting that back again. But let's switch over to Gabe, who's doing some star jumps. Hopefully you guys can still hear me. Yeah, anyway. So Gabe, could you just take us into what people will experience as the commendations menu? We can see that they're split up into 8 categories as it stands right now. Some of them complete, some of them not. We have some of the general ones completed, the missions completed. Obviously, things like if you have hit level 30 and a commendation asks you to hit level 30, we're not going to have to do that again, is that correct?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Great. Some of the other questions I had, so I can talk a little bit about this, and you guys can talk about it more, is that there will be some rewards tied to this, which is really, really cool. Vanity things. We can talk about some of that today, and we are going to be able to say that there will be a new vanity slot for the patches. Correct?
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
All right. So obviously, I would love if Tom were here to talk about it because I know that he's super passionate about those things. But if people kind of see, people know it from the agent that on your arm you have the Phoenix logo. Correct? By default, but you will be having other patches that you earn through commendations, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they're exclusively through commendations as well.
Okay, so if someone's like complete badass in the Dark Zone, they will be, able to tag themselves as such.
Yeah, they'll have patches that other people won't have access to. For sure.
Cool. Add those numbers up, not 500. Correct, I turn D nuts. I see you in chat. We did talk about that before. This is a development build. So you'll see here that the screen reads 110 commendations in this build, but there will be a lot more. I have actually seen some of those in Tom's spreadsheet, and there's some really, really cool ones in there as well. So one of the things that I've noticed that the community are doing at the moment is they're kind of creating their own challenges, and they've been doing it for a little while. But like, for example, I know a few streamers are doing like I don't know what you would call it, but like in WoW, it was the Undying Naxxramas thing, which I got on my Rogue, and it was a lot of fun. Sorry, that was like a humble brag. If you missed that, anyway, Undying Rogue here. But back in for example, in Diablo 2, people were kind of creating the Iron Man type challenges where you would not die and all these sorts of things, or hardcore mode, or those sorts of things. Are those the types of specific gameplay experiences that could be added, or people could get recognition for completing in the commendation system?
Yeah, I mean, certainly that can be one compartment of it. Like we'll have things like complete legendary missions without going down or dead, or we'll have things like in Dragon's Nest, complete it without ever being hit by an RC car.
Oh yeah.
We've definitely got challenges built in there. I mean, if the categories are on screen, we're looking to encompass all of the game. So each individual area will have very specific and targeted commendations for the player to achieve.
Okay, obviously, and there's ones that aren't targeted, like kill this many cleaners, kill this many something, right?
Yeah, we've got general ones in there, like kill 1,000 cleaners, kill 1,000 Rikers, use get 1,000 kills with ARs, SMGs, things like that.
Cool. What are some of your favorite ones that you've seen Tom has cooked up?
Oh, well, my favorite one is the art gallery in Survival.
Yeah.
Spend 3 minutes looking at the pictures in Survival.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
There's simple funny ones like tactical neck, which is like just equip a turtleneck.
Perfect
or
for
like
neck.
tired yet, which is like I think it's like shoot 100 tires out.
Okay.
Stuff like that.
Yeah. For the people wondering, there is a car door achievement, correct? A commendation rather. I don't know exactly the numbers that there are for it. I'll see if Gabe can find it. He's going through a few of those at the moment. But I don't know. So K-Bell's Bar is asking, are there any dog slayer achievements for killing dogs? I certainly hope not. But
No.
I never know with these crazy folks over at Reflections. Please tell me there are no dog killing achievements.
No.
There's no dog killing achievement.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. The question is, and I think this one's worth talking about. Zion Nevi is asking, why do we need this? I, for one, this again might not be for everyone.
Yeah. It's that kind of long-term engagement, right? Like, so when commendations go live, there'll be a patch you really want, right? And if you really want that patch, you might have to do something to go and get that patch. There's also the fact that we want to push you to areas like, let's say you're not really into survival, but there's a really cool patch. Maybe you can go and play that and get the patch. And then through doing that, you actually, this is a really cool game mode. I'm really switched on with this.
Yeah.
It's also not just the patches, because we've got the commendation score that goes with the commendations as well. Each commendation counts towards a score, and that score is also going to appear on the kill screen in the dark zone. So if someone shoots you, you're going to see their patch and their commendation score as well. So you'll know, if they've got a low commendation score, you've kind of been killed by a noob. That's not so good. If they got high commendation score, maybe you feel a little bit better about yourself. Yeah. So maybe you want that patch as well.
I mean, as soon as like the ETF guys see this, like the first things they were like, oh my God, your score is way higher than mine. What have you done in game that I've not done? And then they were like desperate to go and do that to get their commendation score up.
Exactly.
So it's quite a cool kind of peacock show-off mechanic as well.
Yeah.
And we know that
exactly.
Everyone's 256 in the dark zone anyway, so this is another layer on top of that.
Well, sure. I remember one of the questions that we had come up when we were talking about this thing is, what happens if you jump on another character? Are people going to see an account-wide commendation score or a per-character commendation score, right? Because you don't want to go in and be like a complete... Well, I mean, the situation I think people brought up was, well, what if I'm on an alt and I want to run heroic stolen signal and my commendation score is 0? People are going to kick me from the group, right?
Sure.
That won't happen, from my understanding?
It's definitely account-wide.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So people will still know how much you've completed, or a correlation between how kind of involved you are in the game. So,
and again, this ties in with the dark zone. If someone's running, if someone's in a lower dark zone area, they're running 192s or something for whatever reason, but they've actually got a really high commendation score. you know that they're running
kind of trolling.
Yeah, they're kind of trolling for some reason.
Okay.
Or vice versa. You know, if someone's just reached that kind of level, you kind of know what level they're at.
Yes, very cool. I'm just having a look at chat to see if there's anything else people want to chat about. So I saw also in the gameplay, Gabe, I don't know if you can find it as well, that there's a little medal icon, but also a little Uplay icon. What am I seeing when I'm looking at that?
Oh, well, some of the commendations are actually linked to the first-party achievements that you have as well. So we've got Uplay and the PlayStation and Xbox achievements as well. So those ones will be doubled up with the commendations as well. Fantastic. It all rolls into one package.
Okay, very cool. One of the other things I thought would be really, really cool, and if you guys are up for it, is taking hopefully some feedback from the community on if they were to design a commendation themselves, what would they do, right?
Yeah, always. Yeah.
Yep.
So as we get through the PTS, obviously, and even now, because you kind of know the way that the feature is going, what would you like to see? They can be funny ones, they can be cool ones, they can be, I'm a badass in the dark zone kind of ones. Gabe, don't show the console, please. That was my bad. I shouldn't have had you live then. But Gabe, what have you done? The thing is, if you want to do that, the feedback and suggestions part of the forum, Gabe, that's usually the best place, right? You can find that. I think exclamation forums. You can find it over there. But yeah, I can see you already having some things in chat. Having the most hats.
That's we've got stuff like that in there about hat collectors.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah.
What other ones can you think of that are a little bit on the novelty side?
Oh man, there's like 500 of these.
Okay, there's a lot.
It's like a needle in a stack of needles.
Well, okay. I'm told that Naked Cowboy has a good question. Explain how there are tiers. Yes. Okay, so there are tiered rewards. Gabe, can you find one of those? Let me just bring that up. There we go. So looking at this, we're looking at Bank of New York, which is a pretty simple one. Have amount of credits. I don't know what the top tier one is. It's pretty high, but then again, there are a lot of people that have a lot of credits right now. So those sorts of things. Will you get rewards for completing the final tier, or will you get rewards along the way? Do you guys know about that?
You will get some form of reward for every single feat you complete. So you'll get rewards along the way, and then for a big tier one, you may get another reward.
Okay, perfect.
The patches will only be awarded at the end, for the end of a tier, but there will be something for you on the way. I don't know if we can talk about it right now.
Not just yet. So someone says $1 billion for the top tier. Maybe. People have hit $1 billion quite. There are lots of people who are there.
Yeah, we are taking feedback on the exact numbers as well. It's like a lot of this is not tested yet. We're also hoping for the PTS to give us that feedback as well. Yes. So when you see those numbers, they're not quite final yet, but maybe they're the general ballpark, and maybe you can give us some feedback on that as well.
Okay, great. One of the questions I see from Seven in chat is how will you be able to wear multiple patches? My understanding is no, just one at a time, right?
Yeah, just one at a time.
Okay, very cool. Yeah, sorry, Seven, I already got that question. Love that weapon skin. I don't know what weapon skin that is, but we aren't going to show you the that tab just yet. I don't want Gabe digging around in stuff that we can't show. And again, I'm not sure that would take him to a part that we can't show yet. But we'll have another state of the game next week, and I'll be Skyping in Keith and Terry or some other folks from Redstorm to talk about something else. Anyway, guys, I'm going to let you head off now before I wrap this up. Thanks again for joining me. Even Tom in spirit will have to make sure he is thanked for his beautiful presence. Anything you guys want to add before we head off? Have I forgotten anything that we need to talk about?
I think we're okay.
Okay.
I think we've covered it quite comprehensively.
Great.
Yeah,
all right, guys.
Thanks very much for having us.
No, thank you. I will. I'll head back to my chat, and we'll finish this thing off. Okay, thanks again, guys.
Okay,
See you
thanks,
later.
guys.
All right. Okay, so we're getting to the end of this. What was that, Gabe? You right?
I did hit the console on purpose.
No, it's all right. I'm not going to show any more of what you're doing.
I was trying to back out of the menu and I hit
Okay.
next to one escape.
Gabe's just whiffing everything today. PTS, that is exactly why I want to finish off this stream, to have a moment with you guys. Because, yes, we are still on track for the PTS. The date is getting closer, although it's not locked just yet, so we don't have a date for you today. Console PTS will be happening. They are talking with the first parties about those things right now, as well as getting all the builds and things sorted for that. I noticed that people were saying, they referenced my comment a few days ago about, I'll check to see if we can get a build for today. The two things aren't related. Do not worry about that. That has no bearing on what's happening with the PTS, console or PC. But that will be happening. I don't know, Fenris. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that data is going that way. I was going to respond to Hellraiser, but I'll leave that. So I mentioned it before. I managed to have a conversation with Keith Evans over at Redstorm as he was entering the office today, so a couple of hours ago. And one of the big questions that I put to Keith was, Deadeye and Seeker, are there things that we're going to test during the PTS to see some changes there? Happily, I can say that we will be testing some changes to both of those. So I'm really, really excited for the next PTS to see how far we can push those to be a little bit more in line with everything else. So the build diversity that we have is a little bit fairer. Even though we are in an age where we have a lot of build diversity, I do think Seeker and Deadeye do need to be looked at. And I think that there are a lot of people out there that agree with me. GCAR 2012, I see you have concerns over if that will hurt PvE players. That will be one of the things that we have to address during the PTS. So what will be important is that you stay engaged in the conversation to make sure that that isn't the case, because we want to make sure that it is fair for everyone, both PvPers and PvEers. Good news, though, is that console people will not have to be as disconnected from it. Even though we got a lot of good feedback from console players on PTSs that they weren't playing, it's much better if we get feedback on it based on your experience rather than speculative feedback. People say Deadeye on console is fine. That may be true. Again, these are the types of feedback things that we needed. Roberto Magris, how to stop Cronus Max players. I brought up Cronus Max this morning as well, so we are looking to see what we can do there, because that is, in my opinion, a problem as well. All right, let me see that I've gone through everything that I have here, and then we're going to head off. One of the other things that I wanted to check with you guys, so I've noticed, obviously, if you paid attention to the maintenance this morning, the Midtown thing is fixed. People going outside of the map there's a teleport volume in there now, so they will not be able to stay in there. There will be a more permanent fix for that in the future, even though this is permanent. But we needed to get this fix in to stop it, since we can do that server side. But there will be a client side fix to make sure that that is robust in the next client patch. I saw in chat, though, that there were other reports of people doing some funky stuff in DZ07, so if you have reports of that, please talk about them on the forums, and also talk about them wherever you can, because we want to see and want to continue to fix everything that is potentially wrong with the game. Again, GRK Pete, Ninja Bike, yes, it needs changes. We completely agree. I don't know what they will be. I actually don't know at this time if there are changes that will be on the PTS for that, but I certainly hope so. Okay. That's going to be all for today. No, it's not. Haha. There is a weekend event, and I actually have, if I can find it with my extra mouse here, there will be a special event weekend starting tomorrow. And you get extra rewards from the name bosses, so that is super cool. Be a lot of fun for the weekend. Go grind some more gears. What about the lag? So I was mentioning on the forums earlier, that's one of the, obviously the continued conversations that people have, and rightly so. There's a situation, obviously, where people need to, there's a trade-off, right, between matchmaking times and server populations. So we are definitely looking, so I talked with some server engineers about it, if there are some ways that we can optimize that current thing in terms of priorities, but we will need to decide which of those is the priority. So one of the threads that we were talking about was some Australian folks who obviously have to wait a while if they are dedicating themselves to staying on the Sydney data centre. Do we want to have a trade-off between making it so they only attach to that one and they have to wait for X amount of time? Or would they rather have shorter queues and slightly lower pings, potentially? So I see I Am Fats is saying server population is more important than time. Do let us know. I think that would be very interesting to see exactly where people land on which side of the fence. And again, it's obviously a sliding scale because it needs to be somewhere in between. And maybe there's some magic that we can do to make sure that it's not as binary of a decision as that. Anyway, we're getting a little bit philosophical, and we'll leave it there for today. But actually, Beastly Grizzly, you say I should be employed by you guys. Really, guys? Well, good thing we're hiring. So exclamation jobs in chat will take you to our jobs listings. We always want more people. I don't know if Reese is watching. Gabe, do you think Reese is watching? On the topic of Australians, we have an Australian who joined based on those very job listings that you will find in chat. So I think that's pretty cool. I'd love to see more people from Twitch chat in the office. I think that'd be great. Anyway, that is all for today. I will see you all tomorrow morning. I'm going to play some more 1.6.1. Everyone have a great day. Wow, I can't believe it's almost been half an hour. That was fun. Who needs a Yannick? To be fair, I do. I kind of miss him.
I don't.
Gabe says he doesn't need Yannick. Come on. We do. I miss that guy. Anyway, take it easy, everyone. See you later.